Kassandra Ramirez went missing on September 19, 2018, from her home in the Bronx, New York. Kassandra was last seen by a witness on September 19th with her ex-boyfriend, John O'Brien, who goes by the name Kilo. Kilo stated he dropped Kassandra off at the Hunters Point train station in Queens the night of the 19th of September, but this cannot be confirmed. Where is Kassandra Ramirez? Hey everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Kristi Brower, and I am here with my co-host, sister, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going. Yeah. It's hot as hell today. That's what I've got. I was just looking at my living room, and there's a dog on the couch stretched out. There's a dog stretched out on a blanket. There's a dog stretched out or curled up in a squishmallow. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but they're these awesome pillows that Kristi bought me for Christmas for, my own aches and pains to prop up on. And no, my little Skippy loves it too much. She sleeps on it every day. And pigs stretched out on the couch. So we just like the whole room is just stretched out animals sleeping. This is, I believe, what we call the dog days or maybe the pig days of summer.
Yes.
Everyone's hot and over it.
My question is, where do you sit?
Right? Well, the problem is the pigs want to sit with you. And even when it's this hot, they want to sit with you. I had a rodeo.
Not fun.
Our little sow earlier. I've been a little blah today too and just wanted to lay on the couch and watch a movie. By the way, the Tomorrow War on Netflix or Amazon Prime, it's brand new. The Tomorrow War. Mm-hmm. So good. So good. Ooh, anyway, it's like action the whole time kind of movie, but I really liked it. So anyway.
Good. Glad to hear it.
So that's all. But anyway, she came in, our little sow did, and she was fighting me tooth and nail to get up on the couch with me. And I'm like, oh God, no. Mm-mm. Those pigs are furnaces.
Yeah, that's a heater you do not need this time of year.
You can't even stand next to me, lady. But yeah. So I may have hurt her feelings a little bit, but
she'll get over it.
Well, in times of distress, you got to do what you got to do.
You do. It is true. You have to protect yourself first. Put the oxygen on your face first.
Right.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but next week is Shark Week.
Oh my God. I did not know, but now I'm not surprised.
So I've been watching previous years of Shark Week this week. My mother-in-law, Bonnie, is staying with us because she had surgery and she needed some extra help. And so she and I have been binging shark shows like crazy because it turns out she loves that stuff too. So we watch shark shows and whale shows and more shark shows. And
you have found your kindred spirit. There you go.
I have. And this is even before Shark Week even starts because it's next week. So my little dachshund Nini has ruptured a disc in her back. And so that's why you can hear her is because she's in a kennel in here in my office. Because she is down for the count for, they said up to 4 weeks for it to heal. Because she's lost use of one back leg completely and the other one partially. And in order to get her legs back, kennel for up to 4 weeks.
Oh,
makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
Poor baby. But she is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so that's the good news.
Yeah.
She will be. They said this will heal and she will get her legs back. But yikes. So sorry if you hear her bark, but she's just on the other side of the acoustic wall here in my little studio. So
yeah. And she's in a crate and she doesn't like it.
Well, she's in a crate and she does like it, but she likes it a little too much. She gets a little territorial and crazy about being in a crate. So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Pet ownership. I tell you what, I never really considered in my younger years what it would be like to have like a pet old folks home.
Yes.
That is definitely what I have now.
Mm-hmm.
Hardly any of my animals have practically any teeth at all anymore. Mm-hmm. And many of them have been to the vet for really expensive dental surgeries. And we're on soft food for everyone now. And, just like, yep, I've got a pet old folks home going on here.
You really do. Yep.
I do. Well, let's get to, I almost said the news, just because I've heard that so many times. Let's get to our case today. So this case is a cold read for Katie, which means that she doesn't know anything about this case. And this is a case that was suggested by a listener, not just suggested, requested by a listener. Really wanted us to read what the outcome of this case is, because one of our listeners used to be neighbors with this young woman. So we're going to talk about the disappearance of Kassandra Ramirez. So Kassandra Ramirez was last seen on September 19th of 2018. She was leaving her house in the Bronx in New York City. And she was supposed to be going to see her ex-boyfriend. And she apparently did see her ex-boyfriend. Someone actually saw her with him. His name is John O'Brien, but he goes by Kilo. That is the name that he goes by. And there was a witness that saw them together. So she did actually end up with him. But she's not been seen since. He says that he dropped her off at the train station. And that he doesn't know what happened to her after that. There's no footage of her at the train station. They've checked. They've looked into this. The police have. And there's no indication that she was ever at that train station. Like, she's not on the videos. So there's not a ton about her or about this case, really. It's just that, hey, she disappeared. But her mom has really worked hard to keep her case out in the light. So there is a Facebook page or group. Yeah, it's a group called Find Kassandra Ramirez, and I'll put the link to it in the description of this show so that you can go join it if you would like to. It has current posts from 3 hours ago, current. So there's definitely people very concerned and still looking for her. She's been gone for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But her family still wants her to come home. But I wanted to give you a little bit of background on Kassandra. And this is what her mom wrote on her Facebook page after she went missing. Excuse me. She says, "Can we take a moment to remember Kassandra Ramirez is still missing? Kassandra was last seen by a witness on September 19th with her ex-boyfriend, John O'Brien, who goes by the name Kilo. Kilo has since left the New York City area, according to someone he confided in, that he had to leave because he was wanted by the police for a drug charge. NYPD has not confirmed this to be true. Kilo stated he dropped Kassandra off at the Hunters Point train station in Queens the night of the 19th of September, but there's no footage of Kassandra ever being in that station, nor any evidence to prove Kilo was being upfront and honest with law enforcement. I am not stating he is responsible, though the statements provided contradict one another. Kassandra has had a difficult life. She was depressed after she lost her son, Jaden Isaiah, when he was only 12 days old. She's been through a lot. She had not recovered from the loss of Orlando E. Castillo, who raised her from pre-adolescence. Kassandra was stabbed in 2017 and assaulted in 2018 by a childhood friend. Kassandra has suffered greatly, even by herself. She was trying to overcome an addiction, and she graduated from culinary school while homeless. Kassandra was in the process of getting her life together so she could see her second son again. Kassandra was not perfect and had many issues she was combating. Kassandra deserves to have joy. Kassandra is a mother, daughter, sister, auntie, and friend. If you know where Kassandra is, please speak up, even under anonymous reporting to the NYPD, or message me. This is her mom on her Facebook, in the Facebook group. I just want my daughter found or lead to where she is. I pray Cassandra is out there somewhere and that with God's love and grace, she can recover from anything that has happened in the time that she has been missing. If my baby girl is not with us any longer, I pray she is given the dignity of being laid to rest. So that's what she says, that gives us a little bit of history and background on Cassandra, and that she still has a family that is actively looking for her. I couldn't find anything that indicated that they'd ever considered Kilo as a suspect, which I find strange because he was the last person to see her. She did not have a car with her. She doesn't even have a driver's license. She didn't have any credit cards or her passport. Nothing like that.
Right.
Her son Ethan turned 6 the week after she disappeared. And she said she would not have missed his birthday. So her son, Ethan, is with his paternal grandmother.
Okay.
So Kassandra is described as being 5 foot tall and weighing 130 pounds with dark hair. She was last seen wearing a black leather jacket, blue jeans, and black sneakers. And this was September 19th of 2018. So I would like to take a little break, and when we get back, we're going to see what Katie has to say about the disappearance of Kassandra Ramirez. And welcome back. This is True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters, and we are covering the disappearance of Kassandra Ramirez today, and we have talked a little bit about her disappearance. She went missing on September 19th, 2018, last seen in the presence of her ex-boyfriend who was known as Kilo. His story has not matched up. However, he has never been arrested or charged with anything. So, Katie, after listening to the details of this case, why don't you give us a cold read? What do you think happened to Cassandra?
Okay. Cassandra was really struggling. That's why she and Kylo ended up yet again together. He was so not good for her. They were not good for each other, but he was not good for her. I feel like they partied together. I don't feel like she was sober. I feel like she had been for a while and just, kind of hit a wall. I feel like she overdosed and died. I don't think that he actually did it to her, but I think that he was there and that he knows what happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they were alone. I feel like she was the only female. I feel like there were 3 men that she was partying with. It was him and 2 other guys. I feel like they took her. They didn't put her. They did dispose of her body. She's in water, but I don't think she's very near where she lives. I feel like they drove upstate and put her in some kind of a reservoir, or I don't know for sure, a waterway that's quite deep, and that's where she's at. I
Mm-hmm.
suspect at some point probably her body will surface. She didn't leave her family. She wouldn't have left her son. She just was really, really having a hard time. And this idiot was more than happy to provide her with drugs and to help her, to get high when she wanted to. And that's why these two were such a bad combination. You
Right.
know, why did they do that? They were scared, paranoid, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They were afraid of being in trouble. I feel like at that point he did not have charges, but I feel like the other people he was with did. And
Okay.
so it was just kind of one of those, I don't know, deals where they didn't want to implicate themselves.
Yeah.
And so they thought they could just dispose of her body and he could just act like she just left town. She just had enough and just left town.
Right.
I feel like the reason he did leave town, I'm not convinced he had a drug charge. He may have a drug charge, but what I'm really feeling is that those people have put a little pressure on him, kind of been like, hey, we know what you did. And, he's,
Mm-hmm.
though I do believe they helped him. But anyway, there's been a little bit of, I don't want to sound dramatic, but kind of blackmail kind of stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so he left town because he doesn't feel safe. And he shouldn't feel safe because her mother is not going to shut up about this.
She's not. She is
She's
not.
not. And she should not, because he knows what happened to her. And other people also know what happened to her. They just don't want to say anything because they're all covering their own ass. So
Right. Which is really unfortunate. Honestly, it's very sad to think that people would hide something like this and not tell family.
Yeah.
One interesting thing that I hadn't said is that her mother didn't actually report her missing until September 22nd. So he certainly had a little bit of time to dispose of her body before anybody actually realized she was missing. Because she wasn't answering her phone for a couple of days, but
that wasn't totally uncommon.
Totally uncommon. She was an adult. They weren't that worried until it went a few days, and they were like, wait a minute, it shouldn't be this long. She doesn't usually go this long without some kind of contact.
Sure. Her poor mom. She's been through, I mean, I understand Kassandra had been through a hell of a lot too, but my God, her mom.
Yeah.
Such a hard, sad situation.
So much so. And, just as we know from covering so many of these cases, the not knowing is just brutal for people. How can you not know,
Yeah.
And that's so painful and difficult for family members to have, these, if they just knew, even if they knew that she's dead, just some kind of resolution, able to have a funeral, able to, grieve, that kind of thing. But it's the not knowing that is torturous.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it is. It is. And this is cruel. It's so cruel that these guys are, I don't want to say they're addicts and just dismiss their behavior. And I also don't want to act like all addicts would do something like this, because they're not mutually exclusive, of course.
No.
But they are not in a good place in their lives themselves and are basically just thinking of themselves.
Well, and they're pretty deep into this now. 2.5 years, almost 3. It'll be 3 in September. Like, I'm sure they feel like at this point they can't go away clean.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. And they just think at some point soon this is just going to, fade away. And unfortunately, they're not wrong, except for that her mom is going to keep carrying this banner. She's going to keep rustling the police around. She's going to keep trying.
She does, yeah.
And you never know, because the way I could see this going down is somebody using this information in a plea. Because we're talking about people who are still using, who are still getting in trouble with the law, who are still in that kind of space. And I feel like the only hope of any kind of like resolution here, to me, is that somebody decides to use what they know about this situation in a plea, and then the dominoes will fall.
Sure. That's very interesting. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on this situation and see if somebody finally spills the beans about what happened and about where her body is.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate your read, because I agree with you. I never felt like this was a murder. This just doesn't feel like a murder. There's no malice behind it.
Yeah, no, just a dumbass that made some really stupid decisions that have now resulted in where we are today with this case, and where her family is today with this case.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you. And much love to the Kassandra Ramirez family. And, we hope that maybe this gives you a little peace. We also hope that those responsible for covering up her death are able to give up the truth, or somehow the truth comes out, so at least they can bring Cassandra home.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you guys, this is our Wednesday case. We will be back tonight with our live case updates at 7 p.m. Mountain, and we'll be back Thursday night at 7 p.m. Mountain with our live stream called the Psychic Hour, where we'll be doing some readings, and it is the first Thursday of the month, which means it is marching orders, which is a reading for every sun sign about, what to do with July.
Yeah.
And we will be back, we promise, this weekend with some pop-ups. We have been very busy, and I'm sure you all have too, because it's summer here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Don't want to discount our friends in Australia and other places where you might be in the Southern Hemisphere and actually experiencing winter. It is summer here. We get a very short window in Idaho, and so we have to take advantage of all of it, which means we're really busy this time of year. But we will be back with some pop-ups this weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you for sending us this case.
Yes.
And we just would like you to remember that if you want to suggest a case to us, please go to truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com. There's a form to fill out. And then be patient with us, because we have a lot of recommendations, and we try to get to as many of them as we can. Remember to send us cold cases. We like cold cases to do a cold read like we just did tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, you guys. You know it. We are True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Thanks for being here.
Take care.